Bom, nessa altura do campeonato, muito provavelmente todos vocês já sabem o que aconteceu com o Ramon no Mister Olímpia de 2024. Ele não conseguiu performar no seu máximo, ele acabou tendo uma colocação abaixo do esperado. Ele chegou um pouco mais retido, estava suando bastante em cima do palco, não teve uma confiança, não posou da melhor forma que ele poderia, não estava conseguindo encaixar as poses da melhor forma correta e acabou sendo uma decepção aí para muitos brasileiros. E bom, hoje eu vou trazer aqui a opinião de experts como Dennis James, Milo Sarcev e Chris Cormier, que para quem não sabe são lendas aí do fisiculturismo. Chris Cormier já foi terceiro colocado no Mister Olympia, acredito que Dennis James já entrou sim no top 5 do Olympia. Milo Sarcev é extremamente conhecido pelos seus protocolos e por ajudar diversos atletas, inclusive ele já foi coach do Samson Dauda. Então esses caras aqui têm realmente o conhecimento old school, neguinho, né? Bom, e aqui eles estão discutindo justamente sobre a Classic Physique, e o Milos aparentemente tem informações mais privilegiadas do que aconteceu com o Ramon. Aparentemente o Milos estava ali por perto durante a preparação do Ramon, durante a finalização e após o prejudging também o Milos acompanhou o Ramon. Então, se vocês lembram, eu inclusive que fiz as legendas lá daquele vídeo que saiu pro Notícias Maromba, né, em que o Chris Aceto xingava lá o Renato Cariani, atacou o Renato. Então, naquele vídeo ele citou que tinha um cara que foi com ele lá pra sala ou pro quarto, sei lá onde é que eles foram, e ficou meio esquisito isso aí, mas eles foram lá pra dar uma olhada no físico do Ramon após o prejudging, se não me engano, mais ou menos é isso, para tentar corrigir alguma coisa ou ver o físico do Ramon ali e tal, que estava acontecendo. E o Milos estava acompanhando. E o Milos tem muitas informações mais privilegiadas aí pra gente. Então eu quero rodar esse trecho aqui do podcast The Menace Podcast. Eu vou utilizar as legendas do YouTube mesmo para trazer um conteúdo de uma forma um pouco mais rápida para vocês. Eu tô gravando isso de madrugada, insônia bateu. Então vamos meio que fazer um react aqui. Caso tenha alguma coisa errada nas legendas, eu vou corrigindo aqui com vocês. Então bora lá. Aqui estão falando sobre a Classic Physique, né? Então vamos ver aqui.
Mike Sommerfeld.
In a way, because you did say at that podcast that he has the best body for you. You just need to deliver it. And if he
I'm telling you,
delivers it,
I've been
watch
saying this
out.
for so many years. I've been saying this for 6 years, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
If he gets in shape,
And he sure delivered it.
sure.
How do you feel about the best German classic competitor now?
It's not only that, what I like about what happened this past weekend is not that Chris Bumstead retired. I'm happy for him because he has things to worry about now. He has a family. He has an autoimmune disease that he don't want to aggravate for nothing. He doesn't have to do it anymore. You know, he's not doing it for 50,000 a month. A show. So, but now there's 2 and 3 goes to Germany. So now that means next year the favorites to win this show is the Germans.
Well, don't discount Ramon ever.
I'm not discounting anybody, but if you go by who places, normally the one who places second is the favorite going into the show next year.
Olha só, né? O Dennis aqui comenta sobre quem seria o melhor alemão, né, hoje em dia. E segundo as colocações ali, a gente tem o Wurst e o Mike Summerfield à frente do Ramon. Então, teoricamente, né, olhando pelas colocações, o Mike Summerfield seria o melhor alemão e o mais provável sucessor do Chris em relação ao resultado desse ano. Então, se você olha para o que aconteceu nesse ano, o favorito para o ano que vem seria o Mike Summerfield. Porém, o Milos foi bem rápido aqui em repreender o Dennis e dizer que, você não pode desconsiderar o Ramon, hein, cara, porque o Ramon é um dos melhores. Então, dá para ver que o Milos realmente está acreditando aí no potencial do Ramon, porque a gente viu que vários gringos aí, depois que o Ramon teve essa caída, né, os gringos não veem mais o Ramon tanto assim como o próximo, né, o sucessor da Classic Physique. Mas aqui a gente tá vendo o Milos tendo uma postura um pouco diferente do que a maioria dos gringos estão tendo.
No, and listen, what happened? What do you think? What happened to Ramon? Why did Ramon drop to 4th place?
Because the prejudging, he was sweating, spilling over, not flexing correctly. Oil was going all over the place. Protein was leaking.
Do you think it was because he's sweating that he's in 4th place?
No, that's not it. His body was down, not down, but first of all, his posing is not right for what he needs to do.
People have been saying this.
He does not have a concept of what he needs to do exactly, and every time. So that's one thing. The sweating, it could have.
I think the sweating helped him.
The sweating is like getting some body blows in boxing. He stumbled a little bit, but he recovered. They came.
I think the sweating helped him. After he dried off, he was harder than when he came out first.
they dried him off, and he got another shot at it. So that wasn't it because they put Breon inside, and then they put
Ali colocaram um Brion dentro do call-out, ou mais no centro do call-out.
Breon back outside.
But
I mean,
here's my take. Here's my take on Ramon. Ramon looks good. Ramon compares better with Urs. Same height, similar
Ali compara melhor com o Urs.
similar structure. Urs has a better lats from the front in the
Traduziu errado ali, né? Mas tá falando das dorsais do Urs. Tá falando que o Urs tem dorsais que saem melhor de frente.
front relax, and they both. I mean, Ramon's back now is better than it was, but he's
Tá falando que as costas do Ramon agora são melhores do que eram.
still not the widest guy. So when you put him next to Mike Sommerfeld, who is wider, you can see the difference. I mean, listen, Mike Sommerfeld was close 2 years ago where he got fifth. He wasn't as sharp as he was this time, but he was closer, and he got fifth place. So he still was beat by those guys. So you remember what he said on the podcast? Didn't he say he's shooting for top 3?
Yeah, he was convinced he's going to make a top 3, and hats off to him. But okay, Dennis, Ronnie Coleman, 98, at the prejudging, was sweating.
Que ele tá falando que o Ronnie Coleman em 98 tava suando bastante. Então, ó, isso aqui é outra coisa que o Cariani falou, né? Nossa, acho que nunca vi na história do fisiculturismo acontecer isso com um atleta profissional e tal. Não. Se eu me lembro muito bem, 2018, Phil Heath, quando ele perdeu o título, ele tava suando muito, cara. Não era pouco, não. Tava suando muito. O Phil já suou em outras ocasiões também. Então, assim, isso não é algo tão incomum assim de acontecer. Aqui, como o próprio Milos tá falando, e o Milos competiu contra o Ronnie, então, cara, esse maluco aqui tem uma memória absurda, entendeu? E sim, o Ronnie já suou também. Já tiveram outros atletas aí excelentes que já suaram, então isso não é algo totalmente incomum. Acontece.
Profusely, and I was getting better. Yes, so that can happen. In Ramon's case, it was not happening. I mean, he didn't get drier and leaner, in front of us. He was leaking. It was a mess. I mean, even Brian was trying to help him and tell him.
O Brian tava tentando ajudar ele ali.
When that happened, he already had 2 call-outs.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
He was already on the outside.
Chris Aceto said he was peeled out of his mind.
I believe it.
Aqui fez uma tradução um pouco esquisita, né? Mas ele tá dizendo aqui que o Chris Aceto disse que o Ramon tava seco pra caramba.
Okay, and as soon as they step off the stage, I think the tamer went to see him in the room to see what happened, and he sat down and he was perfect. So even Chris doesn't really understand what happened. And
então foi o Tamer, não foi o Milos.
And Ramon is the guy. He says he can train and not sweat. So usually
pode treinar e não suar, ok? Suar, no caso. Não estava falando aqui de não se preocupar, traduziu errado, mas é que o Ramon treina e não sua, é basicamente isso.
The people that sweat like pigs anyway.
Train and not sweat.
That's what Chris said exactly, verbatim.
Not
sweating, training.
Well, are you training hard enough, though?
He ain't training with Chris. He's training with me, sweating.
That's crazy.
I peaked.
You're gonna sweat.
But the sweat.
At the Dragon Slayer, I took actually a picture so you can see it.
If you dry, you don't sweat. We know that.
Yeah.
But
he
could be something else. It could be the nerves.
Look good.
Listen, if you coming out, because you know how confident he was at the press conference. Ramon was thinking he's going to come to beat Chris Bumstead this year. And then you step.
Aqui traduziu errado, né? Mas ele estava querendo dizer que o Ramon estava com a confiança de que ele iria para vencer o Chris Bumstead nesse ano.
On stage, and you still believe that, and all of a sudden the call-outs come up, and you can feel they're moving me away. I will start sweating too.
Like, you know that feeling. You know that feeling
that has something to do with it because I know he was looking for first or second.
Yeah, so I don't believe that because of the sweating he plays where he plays.
Okay,
he's already out there before.
Ele falou que não acredita que foi por conta do suor que o Ramon ficou na colocação que ele ficou. Porque realmente a gente viu que o que aconteceu. Tiveram os primeiros rounds de comparação da primeira chamada e foi retirado Urs, Chris Bumstead e Mark Summerfield. E ali foi retirado o top 3, né? Então a gente tinha essa percepção e o Ramon obviamente percebeu isso também. Que ele não foi chamado para esse confronto. E a gente viu que foi a partir daí que o Ramon começou a ficar mais preocupado, estava posando cada vez pior, perdia a contração das pernas, começou a suar muito, então basicamente após que o Ramon percebeu que ele não estava na briga ali, na disputa pelo top 3, que ele ficou muito mal. Isso no sentido psicológico e começou provavelmente a suar por conta disso, do afeto psicológico que isso teve. Que é claro, cara, qualquer um que já passou por uma situação estressante, você começa a suar, né? Algo que acontece. Liberação de cortisol e todas as outras questões fisiológicas aqui, que eu não sou o melhor cara para comentar a respeito disso, porém é algo que acontece. Então, assim, o Ramon não estava no seu melhor antes de ter suado. Isso é um fato.
Before he started sweating.
Dennis, question for you, because you point out that you saw Mike Summerfield and he looked great, and then you saw him next to Ramon, and then you say like, "Oh shit, Ramon is way leaner." I guess there's the levels.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's why I believe that Ramon was on like Chris is saying. I believe that.
And when I saw him, because Chris now is saying maybe Ramon doesn't train hard, I was training somebody in a leg room.
Aqui o Milo está falando de quando ele viu o Ramon. Ele estava treinando com outra pessoa e acabou vendo o treino do Ramon também. Então ele vai descrever o que aconteceu.
In Dragon's Lair, and I peaked, and it was Ramon.
Aqui ele está falando quando ele viu o Ramon na Dragon's Lair, que é a academia do Flex Lewis.
It was doing very intense, heavy hack squats, and I even jumped there for one set to maybe do some force reps. I mean, heavy.
Aqui ele tá falando de fazer algumas repetições forçadas, que ele entrou ali no meio do treino, né, para tentar fazer algumas repetições forçadas e tal.
He was not sweating. And then he locked.
E ele falou que o Ramon tava treinando pesado e mesmo assim não tava suando.
His quads, and it was like, oh shit. But at the Arnold Classic, I've seen that Ramon was losing legs on the stage. He was losing that separation, right? Wesley doesn't have a crazy.
Agora ele tá falando sobre o Wesley, que o Ramon tava perdendo um pouco da separação no palco, não tava contraindo muito bem, e agora ele vai explicar que o Wesley tem quadríceps que não são tão grandes, só que tem uma separação muito boa, e isso acabou dando uma vantagem em relação ao Ramon por conta da falta de definição que o Ramon tinha nas pernas.
The quads, but he has it separated. So Wesley was making illusion that his legs are just as big as Ramon, which are not, and then his upper body dominated, as then he said, Ramon is narrow and Wesley is wide. Mike is wide. So I told Chris Aceto, man, make
que é Chris Aceto, traduzir para homem criso.
Flexes his legs and keeps the legs separated. And I was going to go and maybe run him through the posing just to see, because I see over and over they lose legs. Sure enough, okay. First Chris said, "Oh, Arnold, he just trained for 6 weeks, and now he trains for 20 weeks." This has nothing to do with showing separation. If you know how to show it and how to hold it, you can hold it, right? So to say this, at the finals, Ramon looked way better.
Yep.
And if that was Ramon that was being compared, God knows. But at the prejudging, there was a mess. There was not enough time to recover. They were moving them 56 people, rush. He just lost it.
He didn't look bad, though.
I mean, exactly. He didn't look bad. I mean, if he would have been in second place, nobody would have complained either.
He looked good.
Exactly.
So I would like to hear from the judge, from Steve, what was the reason for?
Call him now. Call Steve now.
No, I will maybe bring him on for next week. Try to want to know what was the reason what did you see in Ramon that you think he is not in the top 3? And then also, you see the score sheets, Mike Sommerfeld was second place from the get-go.
Yeah. And you called it, actually. I know when you told me after the show, if Mike wins, you have no complaints, right?
What I'm saying is,
yeah,
at prejudging, Chris was stand out. He was clear.
I said Chris won first, second, and third place when he stepped.
Yeah, which I don't agree with, because
okay,
Chris
I like to exaggerate.
Was vulnerable, and Mike was in his ass Saturday night when they did that last call out with just Chris and Mike. Chris was in his ass. I swear to God.
Que
I mean, Mike
isso, cara?
literally was in his butt.
That
And
doesn't
Chris,
sound right.
Literalmente não, hein? Que isso, que isso? Aí também não, né, Denis?
I know. I'm like,
you know what I'm talking about. Not
know.
Não
literally.
sei não,
I
cara.
often say shit like this, and it doesn't sound right.
You could see, and I think if there's a lot of people, and if you look at the score sheets, he had him first place. Mike did.
I mean, he had from some judge. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So some
Yeah.
judge had him first.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that tells you how they closing in. So it was closer than people thought it would be. It was not a walk in the park for Chris. Chris was
I know.
great. I think he was better at prejudging.
Yeah. He was flattered. He was flattered at the evening, and you could see the flattish chest.
Aqui ele tá falando que ele estava flat, que ele estava vazio, segundo a opinião dele.
I see it in the chest. Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, I think he was better at prejudging. He deserved the win, no doubt. But he knows that he couldn't do this like this every year because they come and they on him. They on him. And so is Urs too, because I thought this was the best Urs we ever seen on
Você
stage.
tá falando do
The only
Urs.
problem I had with Urs was his color. I said, dude, it just looked like
Concordo, a cor do Urs estava meio esquisita.
you were too light. I'm not saying that was the reason why he plays third. I don't know why he plays third and Mike second. That's something for Steve to explain. Or maybe Tyler. I don't know if he's going to do
I
a
can
video.
explain that to you.
Huh?
I can explain. I'm sure Chris is going to agree. So first, when Urs came out, I also saw him second straight away. Oh, that's the best Urs ever. Ripped, sliced, diced, improved. Okay, so that would be good enough until they start comparing him to Mike, and then Mike's width, won the show. I mean, front double.
I'll be honest, Milos. Where did
back
you
double.
see Mike when he came out for his individuals before they did the comparison?
I didn't think that he's like right away running. I thought he was going to be fighting for third, fourth, fifth, but I didn't see him so high as a second or third. Initial impression.
This is a guy.
Kind of. You also glance on the stage where he was standing. Okay, there's Mike. Oh, I recognize him here. He is, and it was not like, whoa, here's Mike.
He's a little the opposite. Mike is a little the opposite. You know how people look great when they're by themselves?
Hmm?
Mike is the kind of guy, he looks better when he's compared with other guys.
Yeah.
You know?
And
So
I want to say,
I feel you. I agree with you. I didn't think he was going to be that close, but when they compared him, I was like, damn, fuck, he comes alive. He's really good.
he was taking poses like, holy shit. But Brian, I think that's
Aqui traduziu, ele tava fazendo poses como uma merda, mas ele tava ganhando algumas poses, tipo, caramba.
best Brian I've seen.
Yep.
At
Bom,
least
aqui tá
in a
falando do
long-
Brion, mas o que importa aqui pra gente é o que eles comentaram anteriormente a isso. Então, como vocês viram, eles falaram que, principalmente o Milos criticou bastante as poses do Ramon, que é algo que todo mundo já faz, né, cara? O Ramon realmente precisa melhorar essas poses, a gente vem tendo essa mesma análise em relação à performance do Ramon há muitos anos, 4 anos já, e o Ramon continua tendo alguns erros de pose, e eles até citaram o fato de que se o Ramon tivesse ficado em segundo, acho que muita gente não ia nem questionar, né? E principalmente em relação ao físico dele das finais. Porém, nas finais a gente sabe que não é julgado, então não importa de nada. Mas bom, como vocês viram isso aí, eu achei interessante esse papo desses caras, são caras muito entendidos, experts realmente do fisiculturismo, e a gente teve alguns insights aqui do Milo Sarchev, muito interessante ver isso aqui. Quero saber a opinião de vocês a respeito disso, concordo com o que eles falaram, discordam, é basicamente isso. Tô com sono aqui, vou dormir, e é isso aí. Até o próximo vídeo.